Pain is temporary, but pride is forever. I am Jason Richardson, and this is my story. Hey, this is Jason Richardson. Thanks for coming back and tuning in. This is my second episode of my new YouTube channel. My first episode did a phenomenal, was reached in several countries, from Australia to Canada to Japan. Just amazing reaction, and we want to thank the people in those different countries. Just goes to show you that inspiration really breaks barriers of language. This episode is going to be called Calm Before the Storm. So, how I do these episodes is I do a monologue where I talk to you, and afterwards I always have two videos, or I try to have two videos that are like inspirational videos of training, working out, as episode 1 was. So, if you're gonna, if you're in a hurry, or you gotta quickly check in and out, and you just want to go to the end, there is videos at the end if you don't want to hear the information. So don't want you to skip those either, because they are inspirational videos, and we put a lot of work into those for you guys. So what I'm going to talk about today is nutrition, and mostly based on carbs. And carbohydrates, in my opinion, are pretty much exactly how to lose weight. I mean, I don't think there's any debate that dropping your carbs is the best, most efficient way to get in shape, the fastest way to get in shape, along with cardio. So, here's where it gets a little dicey, and here's where, opinions vary quite a bit. What's the number of carbs? So, if you have this extremely fast metabolism, which pretty much about 97% of you don't, okay? So that means you can pretty much eat whatever you want, and you almost have abs still. And we all know somebody like that, but they're very rare, right? So this information would not pretty much, would not be something that they would use, because they would be an extreme hard gainer, and too low carbs for somebody like that would lose too much muscle. So majority of us, 95 to 97% of us, I'm included, and I'm big on conditioning and everything else, would fall into the category of I have to watch my carbs to get in great shape, phenomenal shape. So, beginners means someone that's sitting around the house and they're thinking about training, they're thinking about getting in shape. They don't train, okay? So, I'll give you a number, for instance, for someone that's a beginner. I believe for men, between 100 and 120 carbs a day, if you're a beginner, you're going to dramatically see results. So, for a female, we'll say 80 to 100 carbs. Guys can always take in a little bit more carbs than females. They're a little bit bigger naturally, frame, stature, so on. So your beginner, if you're a female, would be like 80 carbs a day to 100 carbs a day. Now, what can you eat, right? So that's the big thing. A lot of people will go, okay, I'm going to count my carbs. So everything you get and put in your mouth, you just read the back of the label, and this is the carbs that you're going to have with that particular item. So when you lower your carbs, you generally want to eat a little higher fats, okay? So you're not relying on carbohydrates for energy. So for a beginner, what you'd want to do, well, actually this would pertain to everybody. Your basic foods is chicken, eggs. You would want to use most of your carbs as green, fibrous carbs, broccoli, asparagus, green leafy lettuce, something like that. So yes, you can make salads with chicken, chop your chicken. You want to, make sure you don't want to have fried chicken, okay? You don't want nothing fried, nothing like that. You want it, just chicken breast without skin, skinless. So we want to work with basic food groups, sort of like that. So my number one thing is I believe the egg is the number one protein of all proteins. Steak is great, but steak takes a while to digest. Even when you have broccoli and stuff to digest it, it sets your stomach, kind of bloats you up a little bit. So you can eat steak, right? And trim the fat off of it a little bit, even a lean steak, but you can't eat it a ton, especially females. Okay, so remember that. So also you can eat tilapia, would probably be your fish of choice. I hate any form of fish, so I opt out, but that is another option for you, and probably the cleanest route and best route, bodybuilding wise, to get in shape, even for the beginner, mom at home that wants to get in shape, tilapia. So you would make probably 4 to 6 meals throughout the day, prepare them in your Tupperware, whatever you got to do. So you can travel, take them with you wherever you got to go with the kids or to work throughout the day. As long as you have a microwave, you're good to go. And you can switch them up. You can go tilapia broccoli or tilapia asparagus, chicken and broccoli, or, for lunch you can have a salad, green leafy salad with chicken breast. Now here's where it gets a little different. The intermediate, the person that trains in a gym all the time, and we know these people, right? They work out, they bust their ass like 5 days a week. They're doing cardio, they're training just as hard as you are, but they're not changing. It's what they eat, We see it all the time. So for the intermediate, no disrespect, gym rat, person that goes in, puts a lot of work in, but they don't change a lot. They just kind of just stay the same because they're going home and eating pizza after they work out on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday. So what that person wants to do, because they're already used to training and working out, they've already got their metabolic rate a little higher than the average person, the beginner, right? The house mom or dad that's just trying to get in shape. The carbohydrates, in my opinion, have to be a little bit lower to see dramatic changes, right? So for them, we're going to say, for a guy, for the beginner, we said 100 to 120, something like that. So for a guy in this just the intermediate, right, and he's in that stage, he trains, he does still need some carbs, right, for work, whatever. He's not trying to compete, nothing like that, but he does want to see some quick changes. I would say 60 to 100 carbs. 60 on the low end, okay? So a lot of you's like, whoa, that's really low. Yeah, you got to make some major shifts in your carbs to make dramatic changes very fast. So how fast, I can't say because everybody's different. Everybody's completely 100% different. when it comes to how fast their body will change. And I will tell you this, whatever carbs or lower carbs you do, you've got to do cardio. The combination of the two work incredibly well. One of them without the other is very slow. So if you're doing these low carbs and you're not doing any cardio, it's twice as long. So if you're doing a lot of cardio and you're doing a lot of carbs, trust me, twice as long. So for the advanced, for the intermediate female, so we said 60 to 100 for a guy, right? Carbohydrates a day, right? I gave you the basic food groups that you can kind of work with. There's other things you can use. Turkey's one of them as another option for protein without carbohydrates. So your basic meats, stuff like that, eggs, they don't have any kind of carbohydrates, but they are a protein source. So for the female that's intermediate, we're going to say she's going to probably do, let's say, 40 carbs to 80 carbs. 40 on the low end. So what I find is generally your first day of low carbs, say it's a Monday. Say you carb up on the weekends, which I'll talk about in just a second. It's refilling the glycogen in the muscle, and they call it a refeed day, is what they call it in the industry. So it refills and replenishes the body from going like 4 or 5 days straight with very low carbs or no carbs. So what she would want to do is restrict them to somewhere in that range, and 4 to 5 days of cardio, depending on the person. And for me, I don't believe intermediate, like fasting, anything like that is going to make any difference. Like, you hear about people first thing in the morning when they wake up at 5 in the morning, they go run to the gym on an empty stomach and fasted cardio, right? So it works. I'm not going to say it doesn't work. I just believe if you go low enough carbs, you can do cardio any time of the day and your body will respond. It does probably respond better without food in your stomach. But is it going to make a difference like, hey, I got to go to Hawaii in 3 weeks? And that's just not a lot of time. If you're starting at a very high body fat percentage, there's probably nothing that's going to help you in that quick a time. So you got to be strategic in how you do this. But when you do your cardio, it's pretty much up to you. I'm not saying that fasted cardio in the morning isn't great, but it's not necessary if your carbs are low enough. You can do cardio anytime during the day, probably get real close to the same results. So here we go. The advanced person, someone like me, someone out there like yourself, maybe if you compete, right? And you want to be ultra shredded. When you hit a shot, here I got like 1.5 gallons of water in me right now, right? Boom, right? You see all that? Okay. So, what do I do? What is the advanced person? What do I think they should do? I believe you should do 50 carbs a day or less, meaning 0. That will absolutely make you the hardest, most conditioned that you can humanly possibly be. So, we all have these role models in life like Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler, and they diet with 200 and 300 carbs. And you say to yourself, they did it, I can do it. They are a genetic freak. They are someone that you got to remember, they're probably in their normal life eating 600 to 800 carbs a day. So when they reduce them down to 250, 300, it's almost like 50 for them. So, and they're not carb sensitive, and you need to figure out if you're carb sensitive or not. But most of the world, I'm going to call it a crazy number, 95% of the world is carb sensitive, okay? Very few people can eat whatever they want and just be extremely lean. If you're one of those people, none of this applies to you. So, but the majority of us, like myself, it does apply. For a female, same rule, 50 carbs or less. The reason I think the guys and girls are equal here is the lower you can go, the better if you're advanced. So on day one, say day one is Monday, and I drop my carbs out, okay? So day one is Monday. I would try to go 25, 15 carbs. 0 if possible. It's probably almost impossible to get 0, really, for real. But try to get as close to 0 as you can. So if you end up with 15 or 25 that first day, that's awesome. Second day, try to match it, but you might be a little higher. Try never to exceed during the week 50 carbs. This will bring you in extremely fast, okay? Within weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, you'll be shredded. If you're not starting from too high of a body fat. Now, if you're very overweight, then I would say, it's going to take a little bit of time. So now, how do you get through this? Jay, how can you possibly get through this? So, I would say what I would do is I would do this 5 days a week, okay? And then give myself 2 days on the weekend, and that's when I do it, to recover and eat whatever you want on those 2 days. That re-energizes your metabolism and it re-sparks you. And so what I do is I do Sunday through Thursday, and I use Friday and Saturday as my refeed day. So I fill up, I carb back up on those 2 days, and that's how I approach it. I hope this has not been too technical. This is just a basic, rundown on carbohydrates and what you eat, and that can fast put you in shape, whether you're the beginner or you're extremely advanced, like myself or other people that compete and actually do this against each other. So just my opinion. It's not a science. It's not a fact either way. It's just what I've experienced works for me and what usually works best for females. And it's just my opinion. So if you don't agree with it, no big deal. Try it your way. Obviously, if you see all my videos, I'm very conditioned and I've always come in extreme shape. I'm just sharing with you how I do it. So, with that in mind, I hope you guys like this this video that we shot. It's two videos back to back. Calm before the storm. Things are getting ready to start really ramping up. If you've seen episode 1, we try to end it really dramatic. This one kind of picks up where that one left off. It's really cool. And I hope you guys enjoy it. If you like the channel, push like. Hey, we'd love that. But more importantly, please subscribe so the next time it'll come straight to you. It's no cost to you whatsoever. And so I am Jason Richardson. I hope that you guys tune back in for episode 3 that's coming out in a couple weeks. It takes about a couple weeks for us to get this done right. Thank you so much for checking us out and tuning in. I hope you enjoy these videos. I'll see you.
Hear my verse, cause yeah, they said it, but I said it first. So in a sense, I take you. That's why my fans in my show screaming, take me to church. No suit and tie, but baby, I go to work. Don't do it for the money, but that's one of the perks. If y'all got the shovel, then I got the dirt. Cause burying rappers what I mean when I say take them to church. Oh man, I'm back with more bars. Yo, girlfriend on my scorecard. Opportunity knocks well. Someone please tell me where the doors are before I trample it. Somebody better answer this. If you ain't never heard of me, I'm about to show you what the motherfucking anthem is. Diamonds and treasure, that don't bring me no pleasure. Every day I just wake up saying I could do better. Trying to find me a girl to put her hands in the holes of my sweater. And truth be told, I just pray that this moment lasts me forever. I said y'all work like a dog and the shine of your light. I'll tell you my sins and you can sharpen your knife. Offer me that death instead of the good. Let me give you my life. From here on earth, please hear my verse. Cause yeah, they said it, but I said it first. So in a sense, I take this first. That's why my fans in my show screaming, take me to church. No suit and tie, but baby, I go to work. Don't do it for the money, but that's one of the perks. If y'all got the shovel, then I got the dirt. Cause burying rappers what I mean when I say take them to church. And I'm all influential, cause I'm somewhat anti-governmental. When I feel like all I need is God, I don't really give a fuck if I offend you. I don't really think you know what I've been through, but it's something I'd rather not get into. Cause I can't put my life inside a pencil when it's something I'd rather not pretend to be able to do when I ate full of shrooms. Couldn't paint when I paint when the bass goes boom.
1,000 times to tell you I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call, you never seem to be home.
Let's go. I call but you don't answer, so I write this open letter. When I left the world was broken, I just hope it's gotten better. Y'all argue who's the greatest, I left quotes for y'all to measure. Y'all were focused on who's clever, I was focused on forever. Back when I would rock the hand-me-downs with holes inside my sweater. Thrift store shopping like I dove inside some treasure. Way before the Ben Haggerty's on these magazines, I was an average teen, not thinking about this thing called rap. Cause there's this thing called white, and there's this thing called black, and there's this thing called life, and I think we're all attached. It's funny how my train of thought runs on these things called tracks. Marty McFly, I'm in the future, try and bring y'all back. Pick it up and slam it down, that's just how the game goes. Telephone, telephone, I just hear the same tones. Where I'm from, it's not too often that we see them rainbows. So we let the rain flow, then we change clothes.
There's such a difference between us and a million
That's right.
miles.
We gon' get him with this one.
Hello from the other side. I must have called 1,000 times.
I just wanna call, baby, I just wanna call.
I'm sorry for everything that I've done. But when I call, you never seem to be home.
Yeah, let's get him on this one. Yeah.
Hello.
Oh man, how could this just be a hobby? 5 whole hours they've been waiting in the lobby. They calling me a hero and I'm thinking how could I be? All I wanted was $1 million and a 2-door Maserati. But somewhere in my stride we just started changing lives. You think I'm changing yours, but you really changing mine. From here to overseas they put belief in my designs. It's getting deep, I feel the world is trying to sneak inside my mind. It's harder to define than artistry and rhyme. It seems like our journey is partially divine. I still have days where it isn't all sublime. Even though I'm on the grind, I gotta slow up for the signs. And recently I'm seeing it this morning, just MCing where my homie has a son, but needs court orders just to see him. A generation troubled and I just wanna free him before machines are looking at human beings inside a museum like